another beautiful day, and I believe you're going to have an exciting time. So I have with me my friend, and we're going to discuss, by the way, you guys, always, by now you should catch up. I always bring interesting issues, interesting topics, and interesting conversations. And I have to say this before we start. Thank you so much for always, liking, commenting, sharing. Even if it takes long, guys, the videos are still here. So subscribe, watch our past videos, come back and comment, because the issues we discussed, they don't have an expiry date, or they're just issues. So welcome, my guests.
Thank you very much.
Introduce yourself, please.
My name is Esther Nyambura. Should I go beyond my name?
Yeah, please tell us what you do.
My name is Esther Nyambura. I am a wife, a mother, a sister, a daughter, a mentor, and my purpose, mainly I think my purpose in life is to grow these young minds in the best and innovative way I can. Yes, and I love exploring through traveling and in books. I travel a lot in books, and I love kids, amazingly. I love good conversations and, of course, wine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Welcome, Nyambura.
Thank you.
So we'll use Esther and Nyambura interchangeably. We are namesakes, by the way, and we are very good friends. And that's why I feel like, Nyambura, you're a very intentional, like you're intentionally everything that you do. I feel like you always go 100%.
Thank you.
And of course, that's why, I noticed your efforts. So, but today, we are not going to talk about everything. We have common things that cut across on various issues, like we read books. You've seen Nyambura on our book club review episode. But now she's just coming on here as a parent and as someone who is very passionate about that mentorship thing she mentioned, and about shaping young people's minds.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your education journey. Tell us how your perception of school or schooling was for you, or learning when you were young, when you were introduced to this thing.
Maybe I can start with, I am very lucky to have been born in a very environment that loves reading, loves education. Education was priority. There was no debating when it came to schooling and going to school and learning, especially when it came to going to school, punctuality, all that. So that one, at least I was blessed. I was given resources, a good environment to achieve that. Now, as I grew up, I had also a sibling who was very competitive and challenging. So also trying to keep up with that was a little bit hectic, but I'm glad that I got that experience. And as I grew up, I was a quiet child. That's the funny thing. I was a very quiet child, which later I came to understand was that I had so many questions. I had so many doubts in so many things that I never actually got answers to. Like when it comes to education, I actually did not know where I was waking up to go to school. I associated school with beating, punishment. I didn't like that environment. I thought the only fun time I had in school was playing. When it was break time, I was the first one in the field. Those are even my memory most in primary. I attach it with any time I was outside the class.
Oh wow!
And with that, I tended to not actually care a lot about how I performed, because I knew I know my grades are usually there bottom, so no worries, as long as I just keep up with
and you're still doing what everyone else is doing.
Yes, and I have other siblings that are doing very well, so at least they'll continue. They'll cover up this. So I remember even an incident when I was small, and I was at that time we were calling them what? Pre-unit. Yes, because we were going to nursery, then pre-unit. As I told you, I was very privileged. I went to a very good nursery. We had playground, we had toys, so many things I talk about, and people ask me, which primary school was that? So I was very lucky. So I remember one week that I went missing. My mom would drop me. Then I remove my uniform, put it in my bag, remain with a shot, and I go back home. And because I was a loner, I would play alone the whole day. Just in a corner, nothing. Lunchtime I go eat, then go back.
Okay, your mom has gone to work.
Yes.
So, she's not at home.
Yeah, everyone knows. At home, maybe it's only the house help.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't go back home. I'll just go in another block somewhere and just hide there. Wait for lunchtime, go eat.
You have your lunch?
No, I'll go home, I eat.
You
then, when it's time to go to school, I pretend I'm going to school, but I go back to play until home time. So I don't know at what point my mom discovered I'm not going to school. I don't know if they talked to the teacher.
You did that for a week?
Yes.
How old were you?
It was age. Oh, we are going...
Like 6 years or 7 years.
Yes. I don't know how my mom discovered it, but I'm thinking maybe the teacher talked to her, asking where your daughter is.
Yeah.
I tell you, I got a beating.
Yeah.
And after that beating, because the problem is, I don't think I used to talk. So when you're beaten, you're not explaining where you are. So my mom could not understand where I've been. Out of anger, she took me to school, and now the teacher now did the other beating. Where I remember that incident, it's because the teacher was so angry. She told me to strip, and you remember it was a body mixed. So strip, and those times were those days that we used to wear some funny panties. I know you remember. you had some to hold. Yes. So I was beaten in front of the kids. So that thing was a little bit traumatizing. But I think from that day, I never actually joked with going to school.
Okay.
Punctuality, everything. Other than I know I had so many mischievous experiences. If I start saying them here, we won't finish. I had many mischievous experiences in school. My mom was constantly maybe in school trying to explain why I did this, I didn't do this, like that. So I was a handful. I was a handful child. And I remember asking my mom the same question. Like, you're curious why. There was a time even my mom told me that sometimes I was a handful to an extent she just cried. She's like, Lord, what do I do with this child? But later when I grew up, I discovered the system didn't work for me. Okay. Going to school, sitting down, didn't work for me. I was not that child that you listen to a teacher and grasp. I was that child I want to go beyond. If whatever you're telling me doesn't make sense, I won't continue with it. I'll stop it there and try to figure out another way. And you remember those times when you ask a question, is it insubordination or who are you to ask?
Were you even given that chance? So anyone with that question?
So I tended to you think I am a mischievous child or a bad child, but it's just that I didn't suit in that system.
Okay.
Yes. So, but as I grew
up, so you did this until you were how old or what age? When did you calm down or try to understand or reach a compromise with the system? Because
I don't think I ever reached a compromise, but because I got too mischievous, I think too much for my mom to handle, which I usually apologize, because when you have kids,
now
you finally understand. Yes, you know the way people say you get unajizanga. Yes. Unfortunately, I think I might have done that because I'm almost experiencing the same things.
Okay.
Now, in class 4, I was taken to boarding school. But I think that was the best thing. Okay. Because imagine someone who is going to school and doing nothing. The funny thing, I didn't even know first time, second time. I was like, oh, what is happening? I'm closing my book. I was like, tables, I didn't know. Tables, I didn't. My mom, I told you she was an educator. She would sit me down, buy books, go to school and ask, which book are you using? Buy that book, sit me down. And still, yes. But she would sit me down, go with me through the learning, go with me, trying to understand what is challenging me, which I think never actually, yes. So finally, I went to boarding school. And when I went there, in boarding that time, you had to do an exam. For you to pass through. Yes. And when I went there, I didn't pass. We did with my elder sister, who I told you, we are just like a year apart, or months apart, a year and something apart. So she was called, I was not. So, and at that time, I'm like, why you guys are worried? Your parents are worried, like, whatever goes.
You feel interview. It was interview.
Even it didn't hit me. Because I know, when your sister will share and you relax. So, I know the glory will be there, so they won't see me. So I didn't mind much. Now when I felt my dad decided, or my parent decided, no, you must go there. So the school told me the only way to go there is to redo a class. So, and I was very tiny, so that was okay. I was very small and tiny, so that was okay. So I did, and I was glad to be with my sister. You know, anything just to be with my sister. So I repeated, and now that's the time I think, you know, it was a sister school, and sister school, the wrath of God is shown.
So you were really instilled, the religion was really instilled in you.
But not in a good way, that's an unfortunate thing. You will put the fear of the Lord in you. Yeah. And that I tended to be... it was the fear of the Lord. How do you punish a child with prayer? That if I sin or I do something wrong, you tell me to kneel down and say a prayer. I will associate prayer with what? With punishment. Yes, instead of actually doing it, I'll associate with punishment. Yeah. So, but that actually, okay, there's, you know, always there's two sides of the coin.
Yeah. At the point, the consequence that came out was this positive change.
Yes.
That's what you're trying to say.
At least I got a teacher, I can't forget her name. She was Miss Ngatia. She was she mentored me until class 8. I don't know if she knows that. She took me to I didn't, you know, when I'm going to class 4, I don't know 2 times 2. Yeah, my brain was somewhere else, didn't connect with education at all. But she took me from square one, from learning basic maths, because she was a maths teacher. Learning basic maths, slowly. By the time I think I was in class 6, I was the best performing student in maths. And you know, at a point, she no longer taught me, but she would come in class and just shout, Esther Nyambura, how much? How many marks? The teacher says. Last time, says, if I failed, she beats me, then goes. And she's not my teacher, so I had to keep up. I knew even if she's not teaching me,
she'll come and check on you.
Yes. Then I learned the discipline she taught me in maths. I was able to cascade it to other subjects. But still, I still went to that question. Why am I learning this? Why are you teaching me geography? Why are you teaching me? There's something that... I remember a geography teacher who used to tell us, close your eyes. And she was very old. Now you close your eyes. Do you see the Red Sea? And we are all closing your eyes. And it's a double lesson in the afternoon. So you're about 40, squeezed. And you're told to close your eyes. Can you see the Red Sea as it flows and flows? Can you see the... And you slept a long time ago.
Why did they want you to sleep?
No. I think it was her way of...
you guys.
But I later get to understand. She was trying to make us visualize the map. But her sounds were lullaby. We are 14 class. I've just taken ugali and
hypnotizing.
So, and then I would just sit down and ask why. I don't care about the Red Sea. Even to date, I have challenges learning capital city of places. Because I was like, I don't care about... At which country are you talking about? I was like, I don't care about it. I care about now and where I am and the people around me. So I continued like that question. Then, amazingly, I surprised my parents.
Oh, wow.
I surprised myself. I remember my mom went to pick the results. I couldn't go to pick. I was like, whatever happened. You know, you expect to fail.
Okay.
You expect to fail. And when you expect to fail, you just relax. But the beauty of expecting failure is that you're not disappointed.
It's just like saying your standards are low.
I'm not disappointed. I'm not disappointed. I would see the faces of my sisters. They are stressed. I was never a stressed child. Whichever performance, I was carefree. So that was the best part of it. So my mom went to pick the results. And when she got there, she was very surprised. I had performed very well. And she went and bought me a jumper, a great jumper. This is memories that you never forget at that age. It was a great jumper. I wore that jumper until I think from something, until in campus. You know, I was a small body, so I could wear clothes for a very long time. So she bought me and she was very happy. Although for me, I wasn't as happy. But the joy in my mom...
Why weren't you as happy?
You know, human beings were funny. When we perform good, you think you'd perform better. For example...
You're like, only that.
Yes.
You're not, you forget that gratitude part. Yes.
I'm like, kwa hivyo ningefanya poa kuliko hivi. You know, I'm like, and you've forgotten whatever you did, you've surprised people. Yes, it's already an achievement. So after that I was like, "Ay, okay, kumbe." So then I went to high school. High school, the same thing. Questions. I was a very quiet child.
Okay.
But I hear people say I was a bully. I didn't know I was a bully. Maybe I was quite a bully.
Yeah.
But what I remember was mainly very quiet. And I did actually another surprise.
Which is?
I passed.
Oh,
I
okay.
did well. I did well. Although overall I was an average student. Because I remember there was a time I was number 33. First term and second term. The coincidence. The probability of that happening.
Yeah.
And even the teacher announced, why can't you be like Esther? Hasongi, habadiliki. What wanna move? You imagine people are moving, but you're in the same position.
Exactly.
People moving. So she was like, you just be like Esther. At least she won't be beaten because she's maintaining her standard.
Yeah.
So I remember for high school, it's my sister who went to pick them. I surprised them. Not actually passing, but I surprised people with my performance. And my dad was able to take me to campus, and I did now IT, what I am practicing right now at my workplace. Should I continue?
Okay. So I wanted to find out, now that you've told us now the change, thank God for those sisters.
Yes.
What have you learned? What did you learn about either your learning styles? Because I come to know that, there are different learning styles. Not everyone, that classroom thing doesn't work for everyone.
Yes.
Sitting in class, listening to the teacher teach, or copy pasting. Okay. Seeing and writing what is on the board and
yes.
Not everyone,
Yeah. We are all different. I'm glad that as we continue, most of us are asking those questions. How can we teach these kids different? We are appreciating that kids are different.
Yeah.
But in campus, I actually knew I was bright in campus.
Oh, wow.
All this time I was just passing by. But then for me, I passed by school because I never took so much effort into reading. I just read the necessary. Nafikisha penye you as a teacher, if you push me, nafika penye utani. Ukiniachilia, I stop. So campus, you're alone. You have your paper, you discipline. It's up to you to know if you're going to learn or not.
To read or not.
So that freedom, I tell you, I actually utilize that freedom. No one is asking you questions. So for the first year, I played a lot. I relaxed a lot. But I discovered what was bright is that I would miss sessions. I would not do assignment, but I would pass somehow I would pass. Then people would come and ask me questions. I used to have so many people that I would sit down. Someone who had attended a lesson coming to ask me a question, and it was not in that lesson. Yeah. And I would tell them, just wait, give me some time. So I go and take that book and learn and try to understand. Then I'll teach, I'll show someone. And I also appreciated the aspect of group work. I think group work played a major role. The way you just sit down and listen to people. Yeah. Because most of the time we talk, we have no time to listen. But this time you hear people asking questions, asking themselves questions, answering. And people actually do ask very good questions. Because you see someone asking you, what do you think about this? This person, different people talking about the same thing, but giving different views or perception of something. So it was a very good listener. I would move from group to group. I listen to your groups, then I see another group, I go to that group. But then the percentage I did on my own was very little. Most of them was listening to people and tutoring people on that. So I discovered that is a very good, very nice skill, because I also read somewhere, if you want to understand and remember something, teach it. Train it to someone else. I didn't know I was doing that in campus, training someone else, because the moment I teach you, it's ingrained in my brain. And even if I won't be there to listen to the lecture, somehow I remember and I will apply. So that's the point I discovered. Actually, I'm very bright. And with that, I went straight away to do with my master's. And that person who finished degree went to do master's. I finished a very long time ago. Mbaka, someone was telling me, I think that those degrees of yours are null and void at this point. You need to do something.
Okay. Yes. So now you have your own kids.
Yes.
And now, as we were saying, you've actually thought about it, like ulijiza. What are you doing differently about them in terms of their learning styles and what have you?
One thing is you need to understand your kids. So I've taken time to understand.
Okay.
And when you understand them, you discover they're so different. They are very, or it's my kids, they are so different. Their learning style, the way they see life, the way they handle issues, their problems, very different. So the first thing I do is to understand my child. And when I understand you, I read a lot. I read so many books like development with ages. I read a lot so that I know how to handle my child. Because you know our child is a whole. You have to handle the emotions. You have to handle behavior. You have to handle intelligence, emotional intelligence. There's a lot that encompasses a child. And these things are clear as a child grows. So what I do, if I get to understand you, like when you're small, you cannot explain yourself. I use most of the motor skills. You go look for, and I use a lot of, I heavily depends on research. Research is done previously. A lot of video clips of what people have done or have been doing. Like for example, you hear Finland, so I try to take some of the activities there and custom make them to my child. And sometimes you may try a strategy, then it fails. And when it fails, it means it's not working for that child. So I try to, yes. Another thing, if I discover a child has a challenge, the beauty of doing follow up with a child and their book, don't even wait for this, just open a book and see how they're doing. You discover this child has handwriting problems. I go look for handwriting skills, papers, notes, something that can help me train this child. If it's resources, I develop them, I buy them, I print them, I design them, I do as much as I can do. And I'm lucky where I work, I have that skill to be able to do that. After that, what I also do, I do a lot of books. I read somewhere that sometimes you don't need to tell a child to read. Put the books there.
Put them everywhere.
Yes.
Let them be there.
Yes, you'd find some books that are so technical, so hard, but you'd be surprised your child reading and understanding and explaining it to you.
Wow.
You yourself, you never opened that book, but the child opened it and say, Mom, did you know? No? And you have no clue. And what I've learned is to say, yes, as an adult, I do not know. Because, you know, sometimes you pretend you know and you mislead. So sometimes they tell me, I don't know, but explain to me. Then if I see you have an interest, I now take my time to also learn that skill so that we can have a conversation between you. And when you tell me, do you know this? I can say, I also read somewhere, and you have a conversation and we build on each other. And for me, I haven't raised my kids with television, so we have no television, just books.
Excuse me, please say that again. How do we live without TV in our homes?
And you know, they have never felt they would go to their grandmother's place, and for them to be contained by my dad, he gives them material to read because they can't sit down and watch.
And they don't know that.
Yes, but I have a boy who actually loves cartoons and all, but most of them like to be out, like to play, like to experience. It's not easy to contain them. Although for now I think I'm getting pressure of buying one to keep up. They want to keep. I know it's just kids are sitting on a TV.
You have not mentioned their ages, by the way.
Oh,
the firstborn is how old?
I have 11, 8, and 6.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
A girl, boy, and a girl. And this 6, she's the one in grade 6. So we are in that roller coaster of
11.
grade
11.
6. No, grade 6.
Oh, the 11-year-old.
Yes, the 11-year-old.
So she's the one who's giving you the pressure of keeping up with society.
Yes. And you know what I've learned with children? You must meet katikati.
Compromise.
Yes, you must compromise.
So you've done your way until there. Your way is books all over.
I also use board games.
Yes.
Another way I've learned that is very good is board games. Like I have the cash flow quadrant for finances. I have magnetic letters for spellings. I have mathematical dominoes for maths, for addition, subtractions. So what you usually do, and those things I've tried to document them in my blog, although my blog is a bit crazy, but I've tried to document that. Other things I also do is take them for book clubs. Textbook Center has a book club, and some online ones. I've seen many people are coming up with online book clubs. So yes, we read a book, they read a book, and they get to meet the author, they get to be autographed. That thing is something they actually like. And attending boot camps.
Okay.
Weekly boot camps where they're at home. And this also, sometimes I would take all of them, but one or two of them would love that. So whoever picks it, I run with it.
Okay.
If someone doesn't want it, I look for something else.
Okay.
You discover this loves singing, is creative, so you should want artistic things. This one loves robotics, loves machine, you go with it. There's one who just loves being social. So you find social arena where she can express herself. She can say poetry, she can art, she can. So the moment you understand your child, it's quite a little bit easy to tailor make your resources to them.
You see, what I'm really liking about what you're saying is it's not only about classroom academics, like the specific education. It's not about the specific the learning, but all other activities, what you're calling those things you're saying, poetry, those social environments, the book clubs. Children learn, you know, so many other things, how life works, the cash flow quadrant you've mentioned. It's not things that are taught in school. You're not talking about maths, you're not talking about English, you're not talking about, these other ones are called what? As in, yes, I have kids who are in school. I can only mention maybe up to 5 subjects.
Yes.
Anyway, so that's what I really liked about what you said.
Yeah.
And how you're exploring the different spaces.
Yeah.
And the different, you know, methods. Can we please bring our children to you? Please take care of our kids for us. Because I think most of us, what we lack is that patience.
Yeah.
I feel like we never knew, you know, that pressure of a parent coming home and saying so many. Until now, you're finding yourself repeating same things as your parent. And you're like, what?
Yes.
Okay, no, I need to do things differently.
Yes.
You pinch yourself.
Yes.
You catch yourself.
Yeah.
And I really like also the thing you said about having discussions with your child and going to do research about what you've been asked. Sisi tuko hapo tunataka kuuliza ati wewe mmesikia kenye mtoto ameniuliza. Instead of going to read so that I can have a conversation with her and be able to help them.
Yes.
I really like that, Nyambura. So I wanted to, you've already mentioned the blog you're doing. Just tell me a little bit about what inspired it. I know you've mentioned the dominoes, the mathematical things, the what. What really inspired it? What just tell me a little bit about what inspired this whole thing of wanting to shape the young people's minds before I ask the next question.
Okay. This was in 2020.
Okay.
When as parents we had to be teachers.
We
had to stay with our kids. No house help because they are gone, so you are everything that household. And it was the first month. They are noisy, you're angry at each other, you're shouting at each other. So the first 3 months was just fighting, and I was saying, no, enough. I'm tired of shouting, and if we are here longer, I think we are going to tear each other apart. And I remember we used to do activities in weekends. So why now, not this time now, make activities for the kids every day to keep them engaged? So I actually went and bought exercise book, my planning book. I called it my planning book. And I would separate it with ages. I knew my child, so this page was organizing for the first child, organizing for the second child, organizing. So I knew for a child, I need to organize the morning session because those are the sessions I wanted to be busy doing work because you know you're working from home. So it's if I can engage them from 8 to 12. Then I think from the afternoon I can let them go out and play, and I can also relax and do my own thing. So I also bought books. I visited the KICD website where they have those curriculum design. You know, you don't want to get out of the education system somehow. So when I read those curriculum design, I know, okay, these are the skills that the beauty is CBC, it's competencies. So the competencies that they want to gauge here is maybe creativity. And the subject is to do with what? What can I, maybe let me remember a session I prepared. It's creativity, and the child is being told to do something to do with digestive system or respiratory system. So I'm like, I cannot teach as a teacher. I'm not a trained teacher. So I discovered, why not model these things? So I tell you, take your book, open it, take the plasticine, model that structure. You see the drawing, yes. Model that structure, the much you can do. Then with that, I also have resources that I've read, so I know what to expect, I know what to do. And another thing I will do is there is live sheets. You know, kids get bored with writing. That's what I noticed. The first few months we were doing writing, but they said, mom, sijiski, yani, like, we're bored. So I went now I started to be digital. How do I become digital? I developed the worksheets. There's a platform called Life Sheets where you put your life sheets. Even you can sell them, by the way. When you create a life sheet and someone is interested, you can sell it. So I put it there. Then when you wake up, you log into that machine. And when you do it, it grades you and give you the marks. So they loved that. So that's I started that approach other than the pen and paper was when we were doing art, because I also bought the white book. I bought paints, I bought colors. Because remember, you've gone through the curriculum design, you know the competencies they are supposed to be tested. So when I bought book, I bought the textbooks, the recommended books that by the KICD. I would go and check a book and see the topics. So I won't veer away. Although to be practical, I know in this term they're supposed to learn this. So how do I innovatively teach this lesson? How do I put it hands-on for this child? Because that's what I will understand and that's what we'll understand. So it took me time because I would sleep up to 2 to 4 planning. I didn't know it's a lot of work. Bravo to the teachers. Planning to deliver something is actually very hard. It's not an easy job. So I had to plan. I had to plan for resources, what I need to buy, what I need to use. And then with time, when I discovered I'm spending too much money, I had now to think. Innovatively. My resources are not bus. With that improvisation, we started even making modeling clay using unga. Yes, and you put colors and you have so you can see that I have that article in my blog. So I started using raw materials. You'd find me in shop asking for boxes, asking for tissue rolls, asking for styrofoams, those things, because you have the activity, you've planned the activity, so it's a matter of looking for that resource. So that became cheap for me. So all that, after we went back to school, I had no more time with them. And I discovered there's so much. And teacher notice, they ask you, your child is very good, your child.
Of course, after all that at
home, what are you doing? And people would see those of my I used to put them on WhatsApp. What are you doing? Can you give me that steps? How did you do that? Because we used to have people. We used to have even baking session. Right now, my 11-year-old is a very good baker. We are thinking of doing it now to sell.
Okay, wow.
Because we are doing the financial. This year was a financial matter year, and we are thinking that we can now start making money. So I decided, why don't I document this? These are good. If people are asking what I'm doing differently or asking, I decided, why not share with the world what I do? So I started a blog. Then I discovered also writing is another.
But you write so well.
Yeah, really.
Give us the address. You do. You write so
Thank you very much.
So detailed. And you see the same way you do the preparations. And you over-prepare.
Yes. Thank you very much. So that's when that's the reason I started a blog, so that I can share what I'm doing with my kids with other people. Although it's work in progress, I'm hoping I have so much I haven't put there, so much we are still doing even now. Someone had also suggested, if you have no time, why don't you record it, TikTok it? So I thought, okay, not a bad idea. When they are doing it, I just record, TikTok it. Then maybe with time I can be able to. But I'm that person of books. I'm more of pen. I have to see it written. I'm in IT, but I'm that person who still loves paper and pen. I like to see ideas on paper. I feel when they're on paper, they're much
better.
Yes, that's what I feel. Yeah.
That debate has been won. By the paper pen people.
Yes.
I mean, it flows better.
Yes. Ideas flow better when you write. Or when you give someone to review. I feel I'm those people who go to YouTube and get so bored, especially if you're not straight to the point. I like videos of 3 to 2 minutes, deliver, give, finish. So, but books, I can read volumes. So that's why I associate more with writing and pen and paper. Yes.
I really like that.
Thank you.
And yet you're here. So I wanted to ask you, now that you've learned your children's, or you're discovering your children's learning
capabilities.
Yes. as you're going, and you're doing so much, and
Yes.
you're going all round.
Yes.
So where are our kids coming in? Like, are you going to do it beyond your kids? Or is it just a matter of this is you and your household, and the rest of us are noticing and asking?
I hope not. I hope
demand?
not. I hope not, because that's the reason I have a blog. I work with a teacher. There's a teacher, the class teacher for my son.
Okay.
She's avid about sign language. She's a deaf community member, and with that, we work together to be able to train my kid to. But my son is a very good sign language.
I saw that too.
He's very good. I sometimes do not know how to convert. I've tried, but I don't know why that one. Like,
oh, you're also trying to learn.
but
so
yes,
that you guys can.
I usually learn so that I move with my child.
Okay.
Otherwise, when you keep on telling your child, you have to be a mom, you know.
Conversations.
Yes, and the kid's brain is so open that it can take almost every. Do you know studies say 90% of the brain grow between 1 to 5 years?
Not 12?
No, 5.
Okay.
5. In that time, it can accommodate and it can take as much as you can give. Even I read somewhere, at kid at that time, they can learn up to 5 languages. So when you hear people saying that hizi ongea mother tongue is, that kid can take Chinese, English, Kiswahili zote. That
True.
And if a study says 90% of it, and that's the time your brain it's connecting, like the wires are connecting at that time. And remember, also after 5, it's when you release that child to society. And the moment you release that child to society, anything goes. The habits, the tabia with the kids, anything goes. So if you haven't built this brain at that stage, trying to build it later may take you so much effort than if you had nurtured it at these
foundational ages.
This foundational age. And with that, my aim is to start a preschool.
Oh wow!
I think I've sung that for you over years,
Yes.
and finally I got a piece of land.
Oh,
So I just need resources and finances. Finally, I got a piece of land. Although for now I'm farming it, and sometimes when you are looking for money, you think this is not a good idea, because for this preschool, it is not a business making. It will be more giving to the community, and if I'm giving back to the community, what I need is more money, because I won't be getting money. Because if I start this preschool, I'll be dealing with kids between 1 to 5, and I will specialize that nothing less, nothing more. And when I take this child in, I have tailor-made resources. I have with my experiences, we have innovation, we have skills, we have coding. There's so much I've collected that is in one pot that I wish I would disseminate to these kids. I'll have that school will have a free library, meaning a child can come and read. The only time I charge is when you take the book, because I don't know if it will come back. So it is more of a community,
like a learning center.
Yeah, it's not. Yes, it will not be
center
an income generating. So that is what has been taking time, because if it's not an income generating, it will be like a child who is taking.
Right now in our learning industry, what would you ask them to do for you, or ask them to do differently, or what change would you want to see?
Other than what I have taught, the changes. If the genie was granted me, I wish it's being able to establish the preschool right now. But meanwhile, where I am, I think I'll try to mentor the much I can do. But remember, if we can be able, for me, the education can be, flexible enough to allow different ways of learning, which I think CBC is trying to do that. If we can allow that, I think it can go a very long way to achieve that. Introducing new things in classroom, new way of learning, having open-minded teachers who are ready to teach differently, getting to understand these people. Sometimes I've noticed something that we do maybe wrong is when a child asks you a question and you go ahead to give an answer. The best thing is ask why. Why are you asking that? Or what? Usually my first question is, what do you think? Until there's a point I ask my child a question and ask me, what do you think? It's like back right at you. Because I'm like, what do you think? Because sometimes you may be first to answer, and that was not the angle. But when you get to understand where they coming from, why are they asking questions, you'll be better informed to get. But most of them, they know that I hardly answer. So sometimes they think, Mommy doesn't know anything. You ask her, she just, I sent her some.
Takes you around.
Yes, if I know you can get a better explained solution, I avoid. If I know you can get better mentorship, I take you to that person who can give you that. Because I know, usually, if the first time a child is curious, whatever you tell them, that kuitoa kwa kichwa.
True that.
It's very hard.
True.
So when that curiosity is there, I try to give the best accurate information I can. And if I can't, I give it to someone else, or I give them resources. Then we can discuss the resources. For example, we watch something. If, for example, my child wants to know about sex, about organs, we'll watch something. You see you watch their faces, their reaction. Then you sit down and tell them, what do you think? Because sometimes they'll be like, "Ay, mom, like, is that possible?" Then you're like, so polo, you know where to start with this child, so that you also don't give them so much that they cannot be able to handle with their age.
Or beyond their understanding.
So if a genie was to grant me a wish, is an environment where we can innovatively and creatively train this child. We can give them a chance to choose. Just a case scenario of sad, but if we can get a chance to test that theory here and see how it go to our kids, I think I would rather try than we see it doesn't work for us, because maybe whatever works for other people may not necessarily work for you, but I don't think we are much different, irrespective of where you're born, how you're born. Under the skin, we are all almost the same. Yes.
Last question. Anything you feel like you want to mention that you have not mentioned?
Try, as a parent, try to be there. Okay. Even if you didn't go to school, you didn't finish. There's so much resources. There's so many parents in Instagram that want to share their experiences. Learn. Accept you don't know. That's the first thing. Even your child, never be shy of telling your child, I don't know. But let me go look about, or can we research together? Can we learn together? Can we experience this thing together? So, and don't be fast to answer the kids. Let them think. Let them troubleshoot. These kids are way bright than you may think. It's only maybe society and experiences that alters or changes them. And parents, know your child. Know their capabilities. Don't insist. For example, when I see a parent taking a child to a high school, a child has gotten 310 or 300, and you're forcing that child to alliance. I don't think it's fair. I don't think you're doing justice to that child. Sometimes the child learns at their own pace. Not that they're stupid, it's their pace. True. So take the child to your pace. And when you know your child, complement resources. If you think the school is not good, complement. And these teachers are so good. You can work with a teacher, her in the classroom, you in your creativity and your hands-on, and together you come up with a wholesome child. Be present, or don't be tired of these activities, and also stop doing activities for your child. Please, OCBC, let them do it, no matter how crazy or out of the box that thing is.
We let it be.
Yes. You may see a child has been asked to carry...
That's a very important point. I saw a discussion about it just recently online. So we shouldn't do activities for our kids. Coming from trainer of trainers.
Like what I do, I have a corner that has resources. There is glue, there is scissors, there is paint, there are boxes, there are cellophane, there are what. So if you know you have an activity, even if I'm collecting tins, because you discover most of the things. So tins, boxes, anything I find. And those women who go and see a bottle and pick it up, because I know that bottle will be needed somewhere. And amazingly, we use bottle in a marionette. So you see, so I go collecting wires, things, put them in a corner, let them create. If a child is told to do something, watch what I mean. Hata kama inaka, unajua that sometimes they create something, no, sure this is not even close to what the teacher asks. But it means, and what I usually ask the child, what do you need? The materials. Are they here? Do I need to come with something? And I sit back and observe. Unless you tell me, Mom, hold me for that, or cut for me. That's what I do. I'm like, you are the doer, I'm assisting. Mom, I can't stick this well. You need my help? I put glue, you stick. So we work together, but you're the one telling me what you want. So at the end of the road, it's your work. So you let them take, And remember, when you have resources in the house, you don't have to come. You don't hear parent complaining, nikuja 10, nikasikia hapana hatakuwa ameanza kugonga something. By the time you're coming, you're asking, how do you want me to help you? Because sometimes you tell me, Mom, I know parents who sometimes start doing something, and they tell them, Mom, suache, acha. Because whatever they wanted to create is not what you want to create. And then when you create something, I ask you, uko sawa? You think this is the right? Because sometimes you know it is wrong. So that's when I saw your way off, I am tempted to ask you, you okay with this? And what were you creating? You explain. And the child explain, this is what I've created. And they tell you, good, take it. Unless a child, sometimes you ask them, uko sure iko sawa? Ama unamwambia, iko sawa, uko sawa? Mama niongeze macho.
Okay.
Mama ndaongeza macho. So you've asked a question na ameangalia whatever they were creating in a yes. Yeah. Then naambia macho na need unamletea. Mom, I think iko sawa. So at the end of the day, the child, you know, their main skills, there's motor, there's critical thinking, there's communication. Because when they ask you to work, you're collaborating with them. Yeah. So no matter how bad or poor that thing, and if a child doesn't do it, it means it's not her capability or his capability. Na kazi fanya hizi, najua kuna something else. Maybe they won't shine at making marionette, but when it comes to painting, perfect painting. So where they're good at, and when you talk with the teacher, you tell them, yes, this is what you do, so that you know also when you're friends with the teacher, they will understand where child is coming from. Like if they do something, I call the teacher, tell them, Jana, the kid made this. So I try to put in the teacher. Ndio akimwona sianze kunyo teacher kaimbiangi what the hell. Yes. So sema, yes, I communicate a lot with the teacher. I try to prep them on what we did, or if we didn't understand whatever. Sometimes if I don't understand, they don't understand. I tell them, mwalimu, whatever, by the way, that was not delivered. I didn't get it, the child didn't get it, but you did what you can do. So if you can tell me resources I can find, or a way I can do differently, or you want me to come, then sometimes I tell you, do you want me to come there? We organize, I come, I see you. So be friends to your teachers, be friends to your child, be friends to your friend's child, because also you want to know who this child is. Sometimes you invite the child, you do I invite the kid's child, you do creativity with them. If I'm building something, I tell them, bring your friend, let's build. So that you know the child is surrounded with people they can build each other. Because when you build your child, the rest wako kuchini, the child will be dragged down. But if you build your child, build the people around them and the community, then all of us can grow together.
Yes. I am overwhelmed as a parent. I hope you're also overwhelmed and challenged, guys. Thank you so much for being with us and watching. Comment, like, share. Please tell your friends to watch this. This was very informative, very important. I have learned a lot, and I'm sure whoever will watch this will really learn a lot. Thank you. Cheers and bye-bye.
Bye.